It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Setting up your meeting. Let's see.
It told me it's now being streamed. I don't know.
Okay, so
is it?
I guess we are live on. It's coming. It's coming. Let me turn my thing. Setting up your meeting. Let's see.
It told me. Wait, so where are we live so I could check?
Oh, we're live on not Facebook. We're live on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, we are live. And it's so crazy watching myself on two different screens. And
I
guys,
know, I'm trying to look to see, but it's not showing me. Where does it show you that it's?
Yeah, well, I guess if you go to Polychicks
I'm going now.
page,
I'm gonna look
it shows that we're live. So right.
It is. It's showing it.
Yep. Now, guys, I'm just gonna do a disclaimer real quick before we start. Let's see. My shirt, technical difficulties before we started the show, and I didn't feel like changing my shirt. I have a big stain right here. Oh wait, it disappeared. Did it disappear? I can't tell.
I told her, guys, she's a perfectionist. She spilled water on her shirt, and I told her it was gonna dry. But she doesn't believe that. So
it dried, and now it's wrinkly. So I gotta fix my shirt again. Gotta go back to how I was trying to cover the. Now it's all this was pre-taping, y'all. So I was fixing my shirt, and now I'm just like, okay, well, discombobulated again. But you guys see the two Polychicks. You know it's the two Polychicks, and I'm gonna say right now it's 6:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Forget my shirt. Stop watching my shirt. Stop looking at the shirt. Okay? Stop looking at the shirt. Because I'm
meanwhile, she spent 3 minutes talking about it. 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm distracted by the shirt, but don't you be distracted by the shirt. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. But let me say, you guys in New York, New Jersey, and Virginia, if you have not gotten out and voted yet, tonight is election night. Most of the polls close at 7, but some close at 8 or 9. So if you have not voted yet, take your phone, watch us on your phone, take us with you in your car or for a walk, watch us while we discuss election night, but go and vote. As long as you're on the line before the polls close, they will have to allow you to see you. So go vote, let your vote be your voice. So, as you know, the two Polychicks are going to talk about election night. How can we be Polychicks without talking about election night? We can't. We're not. We won't.
No, we can't do that. As hungry as we are right now, we got to come on at least to talk about, and distracted by Tiffany's wet shirt. She's going to win the wet t-shirt contest.
Not like this.
She's still looking at it. But guys, okay, so Tiff, what's going on in the elections? I know we got Eric Adams here and Curtis Sliwa.
Yes. So,
yes.
Wait, is that his name? The guy with the red, wasn't he a...
I don't know if Curtis is his first name. I don't know why I'm thinking Curtis, but Sliwa. I know it's Sliwa.
Wasn't he a former...
guardian angel. He's a guardian angel.
Okay, yeah. I was watching some of the debate because, I like to keep up with New York politics. So I was watching some of the debate, and I like the way, what's his name? Eric Adams was handling himself. Now, Eric Adams he's going for mayor. They're both going for mayor in your state, my old state.
In my city.
Right, in New York City. They're running for New York City mayoral candidates. And Eric, he's most likely going to win. He's a former police officer. He's a Brooklyn born and bred.
Raised.
Yeah, I think he was born there and he was bred there. Or maybe he was just bred there. I don't know. Look at my shirt.
But I believe he's definitely in New York through and through. He's definitely in New York.
Yes. And so, you have those two candidates there. They're both quote unquote on the side of law and order. You have Eric Adams, who's also a former New York City police officer, and but he's also a middle of the road candidate, which a lot of people like. He's a common sense candidate, which a lot of people like. I don't know much about the Red Beret guy, the guardian angel guy.
He doesn't either.
Wait, who doesn't? Which one?
Sliwa. He doesn't. When he comes out, he says he's a Republican candidate.
Okay, I'm gonna put my shirt all the way down.
So probably has the same Republican ideals, but I didn't even think he was going to still be in the race. I mean, I thought other people were further along than he was. And then all of a sudden, here he is.
Okay.
So, yeah, I didn't really follow. I really was shocked when I still saw it. I was like, he's still on the ballot.
Wow.
Because, you know, I kind of thought Eric Adams ran away with it, really, pretty much.
And that's what a lot of people were saying. They were like, oh, the next mayor. They were already calling him the next mayor. And he's, you know, but upsets happen. So he's
I was going to say, that could be a setup. That could be a setup.
Yeah, he's slated to win in New York so he's slated to be the next mayor of New York after Bill de Blasio. But you never know. After 2020, what was it, 2016? You'll never know with an election.
Can you just tell me, where is de Blasio?
The Blasio.
Where is he? Where is he?
He was on, I think I saw him on MSNBC.
Oh, he's still around? I have not seen hide nor hair of this guy.
No, he actually was on TV today or yesterday. I was watching something.
Oh, good. I'm glad you saw him.
Yeah, he was talking about the vaccination rates and all of this other stuff. So he was on some channel. I don't know which one, but he was on there talking.
So strange. He's just like disappeared from the limelight. I mean,
well, he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. Eric Adams.
Right now, it's protests. I know. That's a bad word for you.
Schlewa. One of them will be taking his place as of tonight. Hopefully the votes are counted tonight, and you know, New York is pretty good with that because, you know. Yeah,
we do it pretty fast. If it's like a high gap between the two, they'll probably call it.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that there's protests going on right now with the cops, the firefighters, and the nurses. I believe some of them. I don't know if the nurses are doing it, but I know there's pushback with the vaccine mandate.
Yeah.
So it's a funny time to kind of be absent, but it's an interesting time to be running for something in office. Yeah. Because right now within the city, it's going to be, what is going to be your plan for these mandates? So depending on what they say, they believe with these mandates, they could win the police department is pretty strong. The police, the PBA, the Benevolent Society, and the police department, they're pretty politically, you know, strong.
Yeah.
So I didn't see. Did you hear it? Did he address that issue? With
well, he said, I think it was about 90% of the New York City or New York State. I don't know if it was. I think it was New York City government workers, including police and firefighters. It may have been 80 something, 90. It was either 85 or 90% were already vaccinated. So he was kind of indicating that it was a small few that were holding out and resistant. And I think they were put on leave, unpaid leave until they decided to get vaccinated or go find another job. So
because what I saw recently in the news, it was saying, New York, brace yourself basically for shortages in the fire department. And it's a good thing. I mean, I'm not being funny. It's a good thing we really don't use the fire department like that. You know, like it's not a bunch of fires breaking out everywhere. Police department is different.
I wonder if that's a tactic to say, okay, like you said, it may be a tactic of, okay, get out and vote the other way because there's going to be a shortage if we keep these mandates, or if it's the truth. I mean, you never know. But to me,
you never know.
Saying like 80-something% of the public, and I don't know where he got those figures. We would have to double check those figures.
Yeah.
But at least 80% of the people have been vaccinated and are, you know, working and on the job. And he said within the last day or so, like another 2,000, and this is just city workers, have been vaccinated because of the mandate. So
I'm looking right now just to see while you talk to see.
Yeah, and I know
if the polls are in yet, if any.
It's one of those things where I'm trying to think. It's one of those things where mandates work in some instances, and I'm on both sides. I understand you don't want to have a mandate on your body, to have something injected into your body that you don't want. But then at the same time, you don't have to have it, but you just can't work here, or you can't patronize this specific place. So it's like I don't know. I don't know how I really feel about that. But if I wasn't given a choice, I don't know what choice I would make. You know,
you don't want to. Nobody wants to be forced, even if it's good for you. You don't want to be forced. I mean, not like countries like China where they don't give a rat's tail what you think.
If Eric Adams does become the new mayor of New York City, he did indicate that he was going to keep the mandate going. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with the holdouts or the people that don't want to get the vaccine, but I mean, that's to be determined. I know there's also 2 other very important races, which was Virginia. Everybody's talking about Virginia. They're talking about Virginia because it could be, what do you call it? The indication for the 2022 midterm election and the 2024 presidential election. Youngkin is the Republican and McAuliffe is the Democrat. Virginia hasn't elected a Republican governor in about, it says 10 years. That's what I was researching. It says
really? Wow.
Yeah, in 10 years, but the race is really tight. It's like 49-49. So that's kind of worrisome.
Let me see if I can. Did you look at the recent results on it? By the way, I didn't even realize the governor of New Jersey, who I seem to like him, Murphy. I didn't realize he was up for re-election.
Yeah, that's one of the ones we're going to talk about. So with this one,
you said Virginia. Let me see the Virginia.
Yeah, with Virginia, you have Youngkin, which is the Republican, and McAuliffe, which is the Democrat. They say that the numbers are on the Democrat side. So let's say you have 100,000 Democrats in the state, and you have 75 Republicans in a state. The numbers would be on the Democrat side because there's more Democrats in that state than Republicans. The question is whether or not the Democrats would get out to vote and keep those numbers the same as they did when they were in the presidential run, where Joe Biden, I think, took it by 10 points. So that's yet to be determined. Like I said, it's seen as a referendum on Trump. And the candidate, McAuliffe, he was kind of hesitant to use Trump as a, I feel like I didn't brush my teeth, but I was just combobulated today. Sorry,
there's no result. There's no early results yet in anything.
Okay.
Because nobody really wants him to back them in anything now because his name is Mud. Yeah. So nobody really wants his name on. They're trying to fade him out. They're trying to. They really stuck with him. He's like an albatross. They're really stuck with him.
Oh man.
And like they're trying to. I saw something. I think it was the World Series was saying that he said that the World Series invited him, and the World Series came out immediately. Was like, no, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Not us.
The Republican Party is kind of stuck with him because he does have a huge following. But these candidates, the ones that so far that he's endorsed, have lost. So you stuck, you frozen, I think. Yeah, you think you're freezing or something.
Well,
you there, Tiff?
I am.
I know you. Okay, your face is there.
Can you still hear me? I'm here. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, I see.
Okay, you breaking up.
Well, if you can hear me, I'm going to keep talking. So
no,
and like I said, just when I said that just when I said in the other video that my internet had gotten better, I must have jinxed myself. Jinxed
you did.
myself.
You did. And you said you were speaking better too.
Yeah, and now I'm more like well, part of it is, remember, I had my tooth pulled, so I still have 2 holes in my mouth. I actually had 2 teeth pulled, so I still have 2 holes. So that's a good excuse for that. But the internet,
a good excuse.
I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, he is definitely like an albatross, and I know a lot of people are worried about Youngkin because he doesn't want to say that he's going to get rid of the right to choose or do something similar to what Texas was doing. And a lot of people are worried about that. A lot of people are worried about the rollback of certain rights, and they're worried
voting,
about that.
The voting and women's rights.
And then
really on the ballot.
They have this stupid thing. Well, I don't want to say stupid thing. They have this thing going on where they're saying, the teachers are teaching the kids things that you don't want them to learn, and the parents have no choice. So that's what he's also running on. Like, they're going to teach them about this critical race theory, which isn't taught at all. Like, that's a college course that's taught, and it's not. They're what do you call it? They're stretching and using the fear mongering tactics to say, hey, they're going to teach your kids, your white kids, that they're horrible and their ancestors were horrible, and that they should. I don't even know the word for it, but they don't want certain things taught, or their children to have that self-esteem of you're the bad devil as people portray. Yeah.
I mean, I was just reading something. There's an educator, Kylene Beers, I think her name is. As an educator, I read a lot of her books, and she just came out with this basically a whole rendition of a conversation she had, because she does consultations with schools. So the principal called her in. She didn't want to name the school, the place. She didn't want to name anything. She was very vague about where this was, but a legitimate transcript of the conversation. And the principal wanted her to intervene because the parents was in panic, crawling, crying, going crazy, because some of the kids had a right to choose what they wanted to read. And some of them chose things on the history of American slavery or whatever. So one of the books they read was about the Little Rock Nine. So the parent called crying crazy, talking about, now you're teaching that white people are bad and that we're monsters and we this and that, because after her daughter read the book, an 8th grader, she was crying, and I didn't realize that Black people went through all of this, and this explains George Floyd. She went down that path, the little girl. Mm-hmm. The mother was mad. But that's like, should we not teach the Holocaust? Should we not teach, basically anything? You can't teach anything because the little puppies are going to be upset.
Right. Well, the problem is, I think with teaching it, if you're teaching them or teaching it in a way where it's historical and you're saying, hey, this is what happened in the past and this is how people were treated. I think people are having a problem with them being told that as right now, you as a white person or are the oppressor. You're the descendants of the oppressed. So you by nature are the oppressor. And I think that's a problem, because to me, I feel like if my son went to school and was learning that he was a horrible person based on what some of his ancestors did, then that would be a problem for me.
But the book is not about that. The book is the person's
not the book. I'm saying in general, the overall.
Yeah, no, obviously you wouldn't teach it. Teachers wouldn't go up in front of the class and go, white people are the oppressors and this and that. But what they do is they're presenting a historical thing. This is what happened.
But there are instances where they're on tape where they're
they're absolutely, but there's on tape of teachers sleeping with students, teachers cursing out kids, teachers harassing, teachers hitting kids. Those things are just, to me, I don't think those are like the common things. I think the common thing is to present, okay, this is what happened. It's like you teach about the Boston Tea Party, Boston Massacre, you teach about the Holocaust, you teach about anything. You're saying factually, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. And it's just like how the Christians or Jews are against teaching that they're the ones that killed Jesus. They get mad when they hear people. So you're going to be people that are the ones that are the perpetrators, quote unquote, are going to feel like picked on. But you can't say, let's not teach it, because you're going to be offended because I'm teaching it.
Right. But and I agree with that point. But I think the thing is, when you're teaching it, always, the salacious details get highlighted. So even though that's maybe 1 in 10 teachers may teach it that way, that's being highlighted and used as a pawn in the election in Virginia, because they're saying, look at what they're trying to tell your kids. Your kids are coming home sad because they're the oppressors and they can't have Black friends now, and they gotta
I can't imagine a teacher just straight saying you're the oppressor.
Yeah, you can't imagine it, but we've seen it happen, and that's the unfortunate.
No, but I'm saying you can't cite like 5 examples of something and be like, yeah, this is what's happening in the education.
But that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, that's what happens, and they highlight the salacious ones where it's like maybe 90 other teachers taught it where they're like, but that's not happening today. But the 10 teachers that said, you guys need to go find a Black friend and apologize. When that's
that's silly. And I would be looking at my white friends like, what?
That's gonna be in the news, and that's what they're using. And people prey on others' fear, and I think that's part of it, because I said, I wouldn't want my son to come home thinking or feeling that he is a specific thing because of something that like his ancestors did. And I would feel the same way as a white person. Like, I don't want him to.
I think people gonna vote that ballot, and so we're gonna be interested. We can't give the results now because
no, not yet. But the polls are
so we have what? New Jersey. We have New Jersey.
Which is
not probably a salacious thing. Okay, yeah, I know. I didn't realize Murphy was up for re-election. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
but I don't know who do you know who he's running against?
Well, is he up for re-election or is he up?
That's a good question. Right?
No, because I thought the Chattarelli Chittarelli. Let's call him Chittarelli. I think he's the current governor, isn't he? And because you know why? The reason I say that is because Murphy is the Democrat. And they haven't, New Jersey, being a progressive state as we see it as, has not elected a Democratic governor in 44 years. So
wait, Murphy's the governor now. What you mean, Chittarelli?
Wait, he's the governor of New Jersey?
I'm sure Murphy's the governor of New Jersey, unless something changed. Unless he went down with Cuomo.
Unless I wrote him as a Democrat and he's a Republican. Is he the Republican?
He's the governor. Murphy is current. The current governor is Murphy.
Okay,
as far as I know, let's see.
Look it up. You can. I don't know if you want to look it up or if I'm
looking right now. I'm looking right now. Governor of New Jersey. I'm almost, unless he stepped down for some. Yeah, Murphy. Phil Murphy. He's a Democrat.
Wow, and they said they have not. But why do they say it hasn't elected a Democratic governor in 44 years?
What site gave that? Maybe it was a site
that was actually on MSNBC. Let's see, New Jersey governor.
Murphy, Democratic Party since 2018.
Let's see, New Jersey governor. I'm gonna have to look. We're in real time fact checking. Let's see.
He's the governor. And he's running against it looks like Chittarelli.
It says hasn't re-elected. Okay, so hasn't re-elected a Democrat.
Right. I'm like, I know Murphy's the governor.
Okay. So
him and Cuomo are BFFs or whatever.
Yeah, so I'll say it like that. They have, I'll restate the fact that we see and we fact check and we correct. So they haven't re-elected a Democratic governor in 44 years. So his chances are not looking good. And I always say in states like New York, New Jersey, you always feel like they're what do you call it? They're more progressive and more
not all over,
but you just never know. And like I said, you just never know.
You never know, but this is the first time that we are in a pandemic. So his handling of the pandemic will be probably the thing they remember the most. Yeah. So depending on how they felt about how he handled it, I mean, he held press conferences I watched some of his press conferences when we weren't having ours. And I mean, depending on how they feel he overall handled the mask policies and all of that, I think that for most of the people that are running now is going to be probably a big deciding factor.
That's how they
most people are voting now, not even based on their pockets anymore. It's like, how did he handle the pandemic?
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, and you will have videos on this too, your pockets and how they're affected by the pandemic and how they're affected by inflation and gas prices. That all plays into your mindset and your voting. So hopefully you guys have gone out and voted already. And if not, like I said, you got 11 minutes to get to the polls. Take your phone with you, take us with you, and get to the polls and vote. I mean, we're not telling you who to vote for or how to vote. Of course, we don't have the power to do that. But as long as you vote, because then the more people that vote and turn out in these elections, the better we understand the demographics and how the American people feel. So, I mean, you don't want someone to take your vote and have it, you can't, what do they say? You can't talk if you haven't voted.
If you haven't voted, which I don't 100% agree, because I understand some people's arguments about voting, but you do have to rock the vote, exercise your voice. You should.
But what's the argument against voting?
Gosh, that's a whole nother topic.
We're talking about election night. I mean, one or two.
I think people, like in certain places, it doesn't seem to matter as much because it seems sold up in certain places. Like, I know my city is a whatever. This is what it like. Is Biden ever gonna win Oklahoma? Like that? That's how people there. So you'll have a small pocket of Democrats that might say he's never gonna win. I mean, immediately, as soon as the voting polls close, immediately the red tick is that he lost that one. It's like the same as not even close. New York, not even close. You're gonna be blue. It's not even counted yet. It's automatically blue. And when have you seen it change? So I get that, especially like for the big ticket elections. Like, if your state is completely, if it's close, I could see. But when it's like Oklahoma and those places, I understand the mentality of we ain't winning. So what am, because people think when they vote, the person that they voted for should win. And if the person doesn't win, then why did I vote? Why did I even bother? Like, why did I even bother? Rarely do you see it come down to 1 or 2 or 5 votes. It's like thousands of votes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But then I think people don't show up, and then they use voting, the voting results for other things, as we know, for for tracking data, for a lot of different things. And then there's also other things on the voting ballot aside from just the 2 people. So you may want a street sign or want a new something in your neighborhood, and that's what they're voting on, whether or not we should run a pipeline through your house, and you're not there to vote on it, and you're like, how the hell, who voted for
that? Because they keep a lot of those things secret, and they had it under proposition blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, I don't know proposition so and so is, but you don't even realize it's something about childcare, or it's something about, like you just said, you don't even realize it's something. Like right now, I know that I think the borough president is on the ballot. It's a lot more things on the ballot than just the 2 candidates, definitely. Like you just said. But I think America works very hard to keep voters ill-informed. We don't even know how to read a platform. Like we don't even realize each candidate gives a pamphlet of their whole platform.
Yeah.
We think we gotta like watch something or do something, but they legitimately have a website with their platform right on it.
Wow. And I want to say they send us they send the ballots, the pre-ballots out. So they also have people at the supervisor of elections that can help you understand some of the things that are on the ballot. So usually, I know here in Florida, we get them about a month and a half, a few weeks before the election. So if you're reading that over and you don't understand something, you can always call, you can always go in and ask, or just research before you go to the polls to vote on or against, for or against those items that's on there. But
if they answer in New York City, they didn't answer when I was calling, because I was tracking my vote last time and it wasn't showing up as I did a mail-in, and I wound up having to go to the place because I didn't get the tracker to say whatever. And the people were not that nice, not that helpful. Like, oh, they're busy. So it's very hard for the average person who maybe, I know they say our newspapers are written at like a 5th grade reading level or something. That's what they say. But plenty of people are not even literate at that level, to really understand what's the real core difference between these 2 people. And so they go on rumor, or I'm a Democrat, so I'm just going to vote straight down Democrat, like that. But I tend to vote person, not party. So
I tend to vote based on what they, like you said, what they're saying, what they're doing. And I have some elections where I'm voting for Republican judges and a Democratic candidate, or vice versa. So it just really depends on their stance. And that's why I say research if you can, educate yourself if you can, and use the resources that are available. So even if the supervisor of elections are not available, ask a friend or someone that may be more literate than you, or someone, go to the library. There's so many resources that's out there, and it may seem discouraging, but I always want to encourage people to use the resources that are available. There's librarians, there's so many underutilized resources that are there to help. So
it's true.
It's just something that we should be doing. Hi, Arthur Shaw, how are you?
Hi, Arthur Shaw.
Hopefully everything is good. Hopefully you got out and voted as well.
Yeah.
And one other thing, I keep saying one other thing. They are doing early voting in a lot of places now, and mail-in ballots in a lot of places now, because it was such a success. And they're doing it,
So Stop the Steal wasn't true?
Yeah, they're doing it more widespread. And remember the mail-in voting and the absentee voting was a Republican idea. That was something that the Republicans.
But I thought Stop the Steal, I thought the election was stolen.
Yeah, well,
I thought there was like dead people voting and stuff.
Hey, I don't know about that. I know there's a president that's
guys. I'm being funny.
He's in Europe and he's the president called Biden, but I don't know what happened to the other guy's votes. But like I said, it was a Republican idea. Yay, she voted.
Yay!
Go.
Yes, you're in New York. I think she's in New York too, right?
Yeah, she's in the Bronx, I believe.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where it was their idea, the Republicans' idea to have mail-in voting and better access to the polls. So, like I said, if it wasn't so important, it wouldn't be such a big deal for them to change laws based on it. So we gotta get out and vote so we won't lose that protection and that right. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that is all. We just wanted to come on and talk for a minute about election night. We would have loved to be able to do it later, but I don't know. Hopefully the polls, hopefully it's over tonight and not this long, drawn out process. I think it should be. I don't think it should be forever, especially you just click the thing,
Yeah. And what we'll do, so maybe later tonight or maybe in the morning, we will just post and congratulate the winners of each of the 3 races.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
It won't take 3 or 4 days. I doubt it will because they're only voting, counting for the specific 3 states that we mentioned. I'm sure there's other elections going on around the country.
Yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty of what do you call them, things, proposals.
The smaller election, they have local elections, they have replacement elections, but those are the 3 major ones that people are across America that are looking at. So, hey, hopefully.
Arthur Shore says, I agree, we must vote. VRA is up for signing in 2025.
Yes, and if we don't use it, we can't complain about us losing it. So we have to get out and vote. And like my whole thing, and I tell my sons, I tell everyone that'll listen, if it wasn't so important, they wouldn't care about changing the laws to change your access to it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. They're really doing the most with that one. All right.
This was good. This was good. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll post this on Facebook. We haven't been live in a while, and we just wanted to come on and say hi. And of course, Polychicks on election night. We can't wait to see the results. I'm going to turn on MSNBC in a little bit just to see.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it on and look at it. Close my eyes like this.
As always, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. If you're watching the recorded version of this, hit that subscribe button. The likes and the dislikes. Comment if you can, and just always follow us to polychicks@gmail.com if you have any comments or suggestions or topics.
Good night.
And
good night.
Oh, good night. Good night. What else is it? We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And hopefully we'll start a clubhouse soon. We'll see. To be determined. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys.